Okay, everybody, welcome to today's Release Trapped Emotions Live. We are live again, talking about various emotions and how they affect us and how we can really navigate our inner landscape for high productivity, creating great relationships, earning the money that we want, achieving fulfillment and happiness and joy, because everything starts from emotions. It starts from an emotional place. So, today we're going to have a little bit shorter session. So we're going to dive right in to the emotion that we're talking about today. And then Elizabeth is here, and so we'll do a quick release for her as well. So, first and foremost, today we are talking about guilt. So, we've all felt guilty at some point in our lives, right? How do you feel when you feel guilty? What's the overall feeling that comes up when you feel guilty? You feel shame. Uh, you feel maybe some inadequacies. You feel maybe being wrong. Um, you feel not deserving, right? So the emotion of guilt is an emotion that kind of trips us into a lot of other emotions, but primarily the emotion of shame. Because when we do something, for example, that we know we shouldn't be doing or that we know is not good for us, right? I'm going to just use the most basic example because I know we've all been there, which is, eating things that maybe we think that we shouldn't be eating, or eating things that we've told ourselves we're not going to eat, but we eat them anyway, right? Or maybe being on a diet and then going off the diet, right? So a lot of us, especially women, we feel a lot of guilt around food, around what we ingest, what we intake. We have this goal, this thing in our mind. We start out really committed, and then something comes up and we don't, right? So when guilt comes up, let's use this example of food, there's a lot of shame around it, right? Number one, we compromise ourselves, right? Number two, we're not treating ourselves as maybe we would treat others. And number three, we are going against our own word. So we're not keeping our word to ourselves. So every time that we don't keep a word to ourselves, guilt and shame come in because we know, right? You can't hide from your own knowing, right? So you could lie to someone and you could then, kind of tune out the fact that they might or might not know what you did or what you said or what did you, what your intention was, right? But you can't necessarily lie to yourself because you know what you know what you know. So what happens is when we compromise ourselves, when we don't keep our word to ourselves, when we basically try to get one over on ourselves, and sometimes we do a good job in denial. Many people, I've been there too, so we've also all have experienced denial at some point. So denial is a way for us to lie to ourselves, but there's always this little word, voice deep inside that's like, oh, no, you didn't, or yes, you did, or you should have, you said this, but you didn't do that, right? So there's this underlying knowing that happens within ourselves, within our psyche, within our emotional landscape that we can't escape from. And so when we are trapped into guilt, um, we get taken down that road of shame. And shame, if you've been following, you've been on some of these calls, you'll know that shame is on the lowest of the chart, of the David Hawkins chart. It vibrates at 20. We really want to be 200 and above, right? So when we're trapped into shame, when we're taken down into shame because of guilt, then we're not in a very good place emotionally, mentally, and we can get trapped and kind of stuck in that vicious cycle of of shame and feeling not deserving and not worthy. So when we think about guilt, we could also feel guilty around maybe there's nothing nothing that we've done or nothing that we've maybe said, what we'll feel guilty about not helping or supporting or saying yes, right? So that's why a lot of us might have that saying yes syndrome, right? Just always saying yes to people and then foregoing your own needs, your own boundaries, right? Your own timelines. And so then when we are actually in that type of guilt, so feeling guilty for actually not doing something for someone, not necessarily because we said we were going to, but because we feel that we should, right? So there's that sense of obligation that comes up. So even in there, when we're triggered into more of a sense of obligation or a sense of people pleasing, right? Because that's also another place that guilt could come up. Then we're really tapping into more of the not good enough conversation. So we're not feeling good enough about something. So we're compensating, we're overcompensating. Let me support, let me say yes, let me forego my boundaries, let me forget about me, and let me put everything into other people, right? How many of you have, you know, done the sacrificial lamb? Uh, um, what do I want to say? The sacrificial lamb. Uh, well, being a sacrificial lamb, let's say. Who's been that? I've done that in my past, right? Sacrificing myself for other people because I think that that's what I should be doing. Now, that was part of my Catholic conditioning and that my Catholic upbringing that I thankfully was able to release and let go. But I remember as a young woman, it was all about that. It was all about foregoing myself. It was all putting myself second, third, fourth, fifth. It was all about pleasing other people, doing everything for other people, sacrificing myself, because that's what I thought I should do, right? That's what I thought that as a good Catholic girl, I should be doing, or as a good citizen, I should be doing, right? Um, so we want to, with guilt, we really want to kind of dig deep and we just want to start an introspective process. And what I call just kind of emotional check-in and just check in with yourself. You know, what is this about? Why am I feeling guilty? What's underneath this guilt? Meaning, what is really the guilt about? Like, what is triggering me in this guilt? What's the trigger? What is the lesson that this guilt is bringing that I have yet not learned because it keeps coming up, right? Or you could ask yourself, what am I not seeing that I need to see? Meaning what's the what's the thing here? What's the evidence here that I need to be looking at, right? Um, trying to think an example in my life that I could share. Um, oh, a perfect example. So a while back, a long time ago, um, I had recently graduated from college, and in my networking, I had met these people who were looking to bring to the country those charm bracelets. I don't know if you remember the charm bracelets. And actually, I knew someone who was quite close to me. I'm not going to mention who it is, but someone who had quite close to me who had a connection to a manufacturer. So basically, we came together and we partnered to start selling these charm bracelets to the American market. Because they were just coming out, they had become like this fad energy. So everybody wanted to buy them. So we kind of jumped on that bandwagon and I went to this person that I met and we actually created a partnership with them. They bought millions of dollars of these charm bracelets from us. Um, but because of guilt and because of at that time I wasn't yet strong in myself and my self-worth and my self-value and in setting my boundaries, that I gave the majority of that partnership away. I gave a lot of my power away in that partnership. So, because there was a lot of guilt coming up because of the relationship with this person. So, um, in this instance, what happened was all of my efforts in running that business and in running that that partnership even though I was the driving force, I didn't receive the compensation that I should have received for that partnership. Oops, for that partnership that I should have, in looking at the energy exchange, how much I was putting into it, right? But it all stemmed from the guilt that I was feeling in the relationship with this person, and how much I felt that I should give. And if I didn't, there was going to be backlash on another side in the relationship. So without going too much into this backstory of the relationship, there was guilt in the exchange, and there was guilt in the reason why I gave up a lot of what really should have been mine. So I lost quite a bit in that business, in that business exchange. Now, did I learn a lot of lessons? Absolutely. Did I create long-lasting uh, relationships in other ways? Absolutely. So, energetically, could I say that there was probably an even exchange? Potentially. But while I was going through it, there was a lot of frustration, resentment, anger, and feeling guilty, but also feeling bad about the decisions that I made in going about that partnership, if that makes sense. So when we look at the emotions and how they come up and how they actually have us then make decisions and take actions, most of the time you can find a thoroughfare to that emotion, to something that you experienced that was either a loss, a challenge, an obstacle, a frustration, anger, resentment, something, right? Something connected to some sort of negative, either experience or emotional experience, right? So you want to really be mindful, and you want to really adopt a ninja perspective and really learn how to navigate, self-regulate, self-manage, and navigate your emotional landscape so that you can use awareness to create and reestablish a powerful emotional foundation. Okay? So if anybody in the chat who's watching this live has a question, has maybe something that's come up for them, please put it in the chat, and at the end I will take a look and answer any of your questions.